Hey guys, Ballatw here, back finally with another VOD review because competitive season is upon us. Season 2, it's been a while, it's been a drought of competitive content. Finally have tournaments, we'll have cash cups this week, and we'll have FNCS. This weekend we had the FNCS Duos warm-up tournament, so nothing really mattered. It was more of a grief fest for your drop spot than anything, but regardless, there's still stuff to learn. Innocence Ajerrs in NA East won the tournament by 1 point over Bizzle and Cease. Here's their games. It says Cheech and Cheech. You can ignore this. It's Innocence and Ajerrs. They changed their name to be silly, to be funny. Regardless, let's hop into it. We're also going to be doing a little bit of discussion about drop spots and the drop meta going forward in FNCS and how people should be playing in the different kind of stages. Mostly we'll focus on finals, but I want to compare and contrast the difference of approaches that different big teams have. Obviously, there were some big teams missing this week, so the drop meta isn't fully fleshed out. Like Zayt and Saf didn't qualify. A bunch of different big teams didn't qualify. But we did see shit go down at the Grotto, for example. So, Ajerrs and Innocence, they go for a very, very restrained drop, and I would actually call this more of a finals drop. Because it's something that's most likely going to be uncontested for a while, especially how they play it. So I call this the Pipes and Slurpee drop. Ajerrs drops at the Shack. Oh no, sorry, who's this? Yeah, Ajerrs, and then Innocence way far out, and then they end up rotating to the Pipes and just basically grab all of this loot up, and then rotate quick to zone. So it gives them, it's fast, it's a decent amount of loot. There's a couple of different agency chests as well. But the potential's not great, right? This isn't Slurpee. This isn't, Sweaty Sands. This isn't Agency. This isn't anything with the mythic items at all. Which you'll see, like, if we can go over to Grotto, there's 3 different teams here. You can't see it because of the Shadow Henchman, but Chaotic, Nosh, Legedian, and Chapin AV, right? That was a shit show all weekend. So the difference, though, Chaotic and Nosh did pretty well. The difference is the loot potential. The difference is the risk, right? And I think when we transition to finals, we're going to start seeing that most people are going to start to tend towards these drops unless you've kind of done the work that you need to do. So my first question here for finals is their Storm Surge strat. Let me go over here. What is the Storm Surge plan? And we'll see possibly answers for that. Also, how do they plan to maintain this, right? Throughout all 4 weeks of qualifiers and then finals too. Obviously, they didn't qualify yet because it was just warm-ups. But when I look at a drop like this, I feel like half the time, especially bringing this out so early, let's put it this way. Drops like this win stacked games. It's just how it works. It's how it works in solos. It's how it worked in trios. It's how it worked in squads even. Although you could say that Slurpee Swamps out of Unknown in them worked better. But in a lot of instances, the people who have these split drops, the people like this is Cease, this is Bizzle over here, split drops over a wide spot that tend to be uncontested because it's, a little less risky, are what win tournaments, uncontested spots like that. So it's important to them that they maintain it. And it's also important that they maybe, I don't know, is this a problem for them? Did they reveal too early? Because now you're going to see people start to be able to plan around them, start encroaching. You see Creo and Bucky later on in the game start to even get like some of this loot, some of this loot. They start to encroach on them, which could cause problems. I'm going to turn down the volume a little more. They revealed too early. How do they keep the entire pie, essentially? That's going to be important moving forward. If you start off like dropping Misty Meadows, dropping Sweaty Sands, dropping the agency, you can basically just start pushing people out and then make it clear that you're dropping there. So I don't know. And even then, you could start chipping away at other people's drop spots and getting even more and more from there. This seems like they're starting small. I think they're probably going to need to expand week over week. This is cool, though. I like the boat to this extra loot on the side. Okay, so stuck down below the dam. This is not good for a variety of reasons. If you get, like, basically they just stopped and didn't move. Oh, why is this backing up? I guess I'll just put spaces. If you get yourself enough time, right, just box and wait rather than trying to push and get shots and try to get up the space. I think this is a mistake, to be clear. But notice how that team didn't stay to hold because they just boxed up and didn't move. Right? The zone is not terrible. But contrast that against thinking, like, think about how that would have gone if they had tried to continue pushing through this. That team would have just sat there shooting them, then like free tags, you know? Why is this team staying on the island? Oh, it's Shadow Henchmen. I'm like, what the fuck is this team doing? Stupid bots. What are they doing, man? They need to rotate. So we saw Nanolight's solo strat revolve around Storm Surge early on. Oh no. Where's Innocence? Okay, way far back. Notice how he had the opportunity. Yeah, he missed it. But because Innocence was so far away, he made sure that he was not going to get boxed up. I don't need to write that. He actually backed up away from that. It was a good opportunity for tags, and you'll see these guys do it time and time again. That's something I'll note. Right? Yeah, so... Oh my god, Innocence. What the hell did you just do? They need Surge. You got a little bit, but not enough. If anything right now, they're just kind of costing more Surge to go up. Like making it harder for themselves. Minus the one tag I think Ajerrs got. Oh, there we go. Finally. Finally above. And that's all it takes. I think people don't realize when they first play Storm Surge games that, like, that's all it takes. These guys, they got a little close in the box fight, but they didn't full commit. Don't need to full commit to anything. Storm Surge just takes a few tags or a lucky headshot. Alright. Sometimes you do, but if you're early enough, if you are planning early enough, then you are generally safe. But I like the push by Innocence to try to get some box fight trades. You don't have to fully commit to the fight. I'm pretty surprised the minor amount of edits and tags they're looking for. Maybe they think that the amount of tags that they got was enough. I don't know. They definitely needed to refarm that. I just noticed their match situation. Pretty shambles. So maybe it wasn't only looking for the box fight trade, but also looking for... also looking for an impact. Are they good? Took forever to split. Harpoon might be more efficient on edge. Question mark. Nice. C4 classic. Later, Ajerrs. Bruh. He's picked him up like 4 times. Okay, let's finish off this game because I know what happens. We know what happens. We can all feel it coming. 80 below storm surge. And Ballatw do something crazy. Is this situation really the time you need to be trying to like really get in? I don't know. They tend to get impacts at this point in the game, so. Ooh, I actually like that attempt. I actually like that attempt. Slightly. Obviously, he way overcommitted, but I like. There's a team in the box shooting on the other side of their base, and they broke in from range, catching them almost off guard, right? And you'll see that theme over and over and over for these two. Ajerrs tried to commit to it. He almost had it. Had some good shots. All right, moving on to the next one. That's a storm surge plan that went RE. Damn, that is far. Holy. Is this little Bucky and Creo? Is this little Bucky and Creo? That it is. With a freaking pistol, mind you. Oh boy. So yeah, that's the kind of thing though that I'm saying, like, this is gonna happen more and more consistently. They've got to start being careful about these type of people like encroaching on them. These guys know that these guys are taking this loot all over here. Bucky and Career are gonna start moving in, especially getting like these early tags and making these guys already adjust. Right? These couple shots would make Innocence maybe take a different path landing so that it doesn't get hit by that. Maybe lands at pipe first before moving up. Because this is significant. Going down 30 HP is significant. This is a nice adjustment. Come into that. Actually, did he land here before? I think that last time they didn't come here until they took the boat and it was already gone. Thanks to probably the people on rig. So coming faster made it get him. It's possible that he came here and I didn't even notice, but oh well. This is that Steamy Stacks game, right? Yeah. Sorry to keep switching between them. In this case, we're chilling. And big chilling. The amount of people playing Edge at this stage of the game is, you know, pretty decent. I mean, pretty, like, decent to deal with. And I like coming over these mountains as zone closes, especially, well, maybe later on in the finals, this is going to be a little harder to deal with, but because there's probably less people going to be here at that stage in the game, but you can get nice tags off the high ground of the mountain. Like, this is a mountain that all these guys love to use for storm surge tags. But this tag right here is specifically based on the way that they're moving, how they're split. This is game 2. Not that that matters. Actually, I'm not even going to keep track of games because this is kind of just overall notes. The way they rotate first zone, somewhat split, not right on top of each other, opens opportunities for big tags by surprise. Remember, we talked a lot during trios about Bizzle, Zayt, and Saf before they broke up, doing that very thing, right? Rotating wide and casting a wide net, and then looking for the opportunities that come up. That tag is basically that. And then Innocence even has a spot to run to while Ajerrs can pressure. But again, the Storm Surge philosophy, get your tags, get out. We're not fighting right now. This would be a very, very, very bad fight, of course. a very, very bad fight. If you don't understand why, then you have not been VOD reviewing enough. More tags, but they're trading, losing their heals at the same time. That's not necessarily a big deal. That's why those heals are there in the first place. But it just reduces the amount of time in between your impacts, right? Now you're gonna need an impact earlier, which is fine. Nice. I don't know if I would have committed to that. I guess it's fine, but... Ooh. They see he's a solo, so... Time to get in. Holy shit, he just melted him. Where's clicks? Dude, that's an emotional C4 right there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was clicks. Right? That's straight up emotional C4. It wasn't him who threw it though, actually. He just came back. Or does he have C4 in his hands? Yes, he does. Very cool. Very cool. These are the things you got to pay attention to when you kill a duo. When you kill somebody, somebody's going to react in a certain way. Everything you do is going to have a reaction from somebody. But good find, right? Spotting the solos. I'm saying especially when you have minigun, just because it's so easy to pinch a solo when you have a minigun. It's literally like the freest kills ever. It's kind of surprising how... Oh yeah. Somebody else killed clicks with the minigun pressure of Ajerrs. Their heals are shambles because they've been in the edge zone for so long, but they've still survived. And now they're far and ahead. Way ahead of Storm Surge, thanks to Innocence. Actually, thanks to both of them. Oh yeah, they just destroy this team. So that's a result of them just pressuring enough split duos. And notice how like they didn't build up at all. They didn't do anything to really get away from Ajerrs and Innocence. Collapse. And they didn't really even do that, to be honest. They both fought separately, but these guys were so not ready to fight. I don't know why. They were being very, very passive. If they were shooting back or something like that, this would have been a lot harder. Maybe because they were still worried about getting into zone. I don't know. But they split them, and then it's easy pickings from there. Easy pickings. What was I saying earlier? I don't remember. Oh, a little double heavy snipe tip that we just saw is when you're in your box, like if you know there's a double heavy snipe or a heavy snipe in one direction, just place a stair out on one side, right? Basic tip. Basic tip for the people who've never played double heavy snipe meta. Hello, harpoons? Are you working? That was like 7 shots to pick up 3 things. There are no cash cups shown on the thing. Well, they were in the rules, so maybe they won't be there. I don't know. I like how Innocence actually like looks out. He doesn't look down to place the wall. He's like looking out because he knows that it's gonna place 2 for him. It's pretty interesting. Is that kind of an abuse of the system? I don't think so. Here's another sneak. How did they not know that was coming? How did they not hear that? That's insane. That's insane. I don't really know what to say about that. He has the gold pump. It's perfect for it. It's literally perfect for it. It's the same type of thing that they tried on the first game when they died. Like, they see that these guys are in a different box and they go into the other one, but I don't know. And then I think Ajerrs secured the kill by piece control, by the way. He got that wall behind and forced the 50-50 between Innocence and Mikey, or Grandma Teets, whoever was up second. It's cool though. You can kind of see these pockets. Like, that would never have been possible in this large pocket, and that's sort of the benefit of Deadside. Deadside kind of gets slightly buffed because of launch pads. I think this is just the beginning of the duos meta though, and people not really figuring out exactly the benefit. Like, we were talking about this with Speedy, right? The meta on Deadside versus congested side, I guess you could call it. Where at DreamHack, for example, they didn't exist, right? Dead side and congested side didn't exist because it was evenly spread. I think this is just the beginning of the duos meta, and also the flip side of the all dead side is good concept, where it's like, okay, well, if dead side is so good, everybody's playing it and it's making it so there's nothing. Let's go back to trying to just play the normal rotates, just white lining it straight to zone, right? That makes it so that this happens again, where dead side gets freer. So I don't know. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's also just the quality of the entire lobby. It's going to continue to go up and up week after week, and then also during the finals. So dead side clearly very strong still in certain cases. This game being one of them. Maybe the circle helps. The circle could have a big impact on that, right? The farther it is, the farther to the side of the map it is, the less likely it is that there's actually going to be people on edge map, right? When you have a circle here that's that size, yeah, it's actually much easier for a lot of people to have gotten around to dead side. In this case, probably not. Let's continue. DreamHack with solos though. Yeah, that's true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the same conventional wisdom that was happening in those stacked solos isn't also being brought over to this. Because I think that solos meta was kind of the season 1 and solos meta was kind of the tipping point for the dead side meta after a while, right? Because people were really trying to figure out how to play solos. Because it was really hard. With no mobility and all that shit. Okay. So they're trying to get to congested to maybe find a pad because they know nobody's around them, which is really like if you get stuck here. If you got stuck here with no launch pad, they'd basically be dead. So they're trying to make a play before it has to be that they have to launch, you know? So I will note that before they land. Where am I? Sorry, really quickly, let me close my other notes. Okay, I realized something. Oh yeah, I was typing getting caught dead side after finding all the nicer impacts can leave you vulnerable, not making the rotates. So they tried to push towards congested. community pad. I think I mostly watch Innocence's endgame here during the stream, during my viewing party, so I'm going to stick with Ajerrs for the most part, but I think one of these games they do something nuts in endgame, and I really, really liked it. This is when Chap freaking rebooted. Where is he? This is where Chap rebooted in zone, the 5th zone. That's funny. I think there's a command on that checks. Like that clips how to actually watch that if you can find that. Those heavy snipes, some people box fighting. Alright. And during freezes, I explained that concept in the video that I did about finding impacts and finding refreshes. Notice how he's pressuring both the top and the side, even though it's full metal. Well, it's not fully built, but it is there. No way. No way did Assault, or did Innocence and Ajerrs pressure the shit out of Bizzle and Cease to cause them to die in this game. Which possibly costed them a placement threshold, which possibly costed them an elim to win the tournament. Thoughts on the way that they replaced that with the heavy snipe? Making it harder. This guy obviously has to switch. He's holding his cone, gets taken, and then he holds his floor. The heavy snipe comes in. He has to switch in that meantime. Makes it easy there. Pretty cool. I love the cone there, no matter what. Like, he wasn't even really thinking about trying to find the frag to his, the frag on a Nordy. You saw where he placed the cone out here. He was just kind of doing that just because that's his routine. And he wanted to edit, and if he wants to do that, he has to place a floor too, because otherwise the cone is obviously going to be gone. But that's just like a slight example of some piece control, some pre-coning. We've seen Epic Whale doing that a lot. And they end up dying shortly after this. But how important is that confirm right there, and that movement to jump out? That's an extra point. Actually, an extra whole threshold, because he just got top 5 too. So that was key. If he died without getting that because he wanted to stay longer in the game or whatever, sometimes you got to make those decisions, right? And he was down on low ground. The zone was going back up to Steamy, like very, very clear that he wasn't really going to make it into the rest of the game. So pay attention to spots where the game is over for you and make sure you confirm, because if he didn't get this, they lose the tournament, right? If he didn't survive to get the finish on Tetra, they lose the tournament. And I've actually had moments like that when we played the squad Microsoft tournament. Me not confirming kills did cost me points, right? Significantly. All right, let's move on to the next game. We're gonna run a 60-second ad again, so we'll be right back. Can you tell us the surge threshold? So that sort of information, well, yes, you should know it. In my mind, like, is completely like that. Learning that does not teach you how to play Surge. The thresholds are: third zone will go second zone notification, third zone it will go active. 70 people need to be dead before Surge stops. Fourth zone, new notifications. Fifth zone it'll go active. 50 people need to be dead before Surge stops, or 50 people need to be alive before Surge stops. And then finally, sixth zone, new notifications. Seventh zone, and 30 people need to be dead. I like this. The bush plays for Surge tags at range. If they see somebody nearby, I like it a lot. Especially because they have zone. Oh, Jesus. Escaping the bow. Not good. Not good. I think another thing to note is about like the zone rule games. I see some people talking about, oh, we get zone rule, we get Surge and zone rules, but the difference in difficulty between a zone rule Surge game and an actual finals game here is mind-boggling, right? You go into one of those zone rule games and you get Surge, you literally don't have to do anything. Because everybody dies. You can have a 12-person Surge and everybody dies before the damage actually starts being inflicted because nobody knows how to deal with it in that setting. So as time goes on, even that setting, even those unranked bad East Open scrims with zone rules that do simulate and do get Surge are going to become harder. And you guys need to start adjusting how you're playing around it. You can't just be diving people's boxes to get 400 damage worth of Surge because that's going to get you killed more often than not. So just be aware. We're going to have those games in semis. We're going to start getting those games in semis. I'm pretty sure this season where, you know, maybe fifth zone Surge goes off and nobody knows how to deal with it, so you don't really have to do anything because they all die because there's a bunch of people getting on people's walls. But maybe 3 months from now, we'll get Surge go off in fifth zone, Surge go off in third zone, and actually have to do something, right? And that something is maybe going to be doing these things like bush plays, these things like Nanolite was doing, getting a nice base, trying to stay ahead of the curve. Because when everybody's in the lobby is doing that, it becomes way more important that you yourself are doing that and actually converting on the damage, on the tags. It's kind of funny how they get all their Surge in this case by holding Class and Tristan Hip. First from the bush play, then on this mountain, because they know they would have to rotate through here. Who's this? Ah! Who's this? Oops. Oh, still Class and Tristan Hip. Interesting. I'm saying clever, sneaky ways to continuously trade tags because eventually, like, they do get tagged. Obviously, with the Boombo back then, or back there after the bush sneak attack, and then here they use the mountain as cover. So you have Tristan, Hip, and Class lose them, and then end up coming out from behind as they came over the hill. Right, every time you can break line of sight, that's helping. Right, again, the bush, the mountain, the old builds, like all these different things are so useful in just finding extra tags. speed up a bit. Somebody in chat, what do you think about them building in wood instead of harder mats? I think there's going to be differences if you can refresh your mats, if you can termite. Obviously, you're going to be building in harder mats, but you could also see there's brick in a section of their base, possibly protecting against anyone that they deem to be a bigger threat. I think for the most part, first zone bases are going to be wood, unless you have a position of strength or you can recycle. If you're not doing this as a duo yet, you need to figure it out. I don't know how many times, like even in like duos that you don't play with normally, you guys should be figuring it out. Like, it's very simple. Lower ping holds, other person swings. That's how you hold. That's how you get walls even against aspect. Low ass ping. That was a mistake by him to try to hold that, because there's no wall that's easy to reset here. And yeah, not hold that, but retake that. That was a big mistake. How did they force their way into animal though? Oh, same thing, wasn't he? He tried to basically hold from the other side, and this wall is just much harder to reset. Sure, you can be fast and rely on resetting walls like that, but man, I don't know. Oh, no, they took that wall. Animal can't hold yet until he moves to 0 ping. I love the split between pistol and AR for ammo conservation. When needed. Alright, we saw that a lot in squads, people carrying pistols. Those pistols are freaking nuts. The speed that you can hit those shots is ridiculous. I was talking a lot about fifth zone height takes are kind of key in securing good games. You have to be careful though, because the lobby that you're in and the zones that you get, sometimes you end up with psychos in your game that will always fight for fifth zone height. And yes, I think NA East has a lot less of those than Europe, for example. You just have to be smart about it, right? There's still 25 teams in the game that want height. So like, think about that. Any one of those 25 teams might be way too aggressive on it and cost both your games. So that needs to be a switch. Oh my god, Innocence got railed. Innocence got destroyed. From Shades? Where's Shades at? Oh my god, Shades? Oh. My man has a beam on his hands. Look at the shot. God damn. What the hell just happened, Shades? Gold heavy AR. Okay. Oh no, it's a heavy snipe. Okay. Alright. I thought it was just full bloom. Full bloom the AK. Imagine. I thought he full bloomed the AK and got that. No way. Oh wow, they jumped on it. They jumped on that hard. That was a good play. That was a very good play by Shades and COD Genesis. Holy fuck. This is the best situation to have your freaking grappler in. Obviously you want your duo, but man, solo clutching with the grappler, literally so easy. This is a huge blessing that Ajerrs grabbed that off of somebody. Huge blessing. It's almost better to be low ground with this. Running out of mats. He also had a launch pad he could have used if he wanted to. Still not reached the single placement threshold, by the way. Just to note. Ooh, quick reaction. This guy died! This guy died. No way this guy died. Who was that? Who was that? He just got freaking played, bro. He just got played. We have to expose. Who was that? Who was that? Absolutely destroyed. No way. It was... Who was it? He comes from this side. It's Arab! That's too... No, 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 no. Poor Arab, dude. Oh, God. Scroll wheel is OP. Yeah, true. Scroll wheel is so OP. Holy shit, Ajerrs? Okay, did you just shoot him through your stairs? Or oh, okay, zone. Who? I'm still laughing at what Arab did, so so I'm like not even paying attention to how nasty this was from freaking Ajerrs here. Wait, hold up, is this the game he wins? Oh no, he dies right after this. Wait. Yeah, he does some miking them. Okay. Let's watch that back real quick, because that was kind of a nuts pop-off. These ones are just the grappler getting ahead, but the next two, I think, probably worth something. And I also want to commend his ability to... Oh my god, actually. I didn't even see this before. What? How much did he just earn himself from that? That one grappler into zone. That was actually 500 IQ. He had 18 builds. 130 wood, no brick, no metal. Only 90 wood, actually. For that alone, for the mats alone, that's worth it. 100 metal and back up 100 wood too. That's worth it. He could have picked up probably more, but I don't know. Worth it for 3 ticks? Maybe, because he has a flopper. But that's cool. I didn't really think of the grappler as a tool for refreshes. Is a good concept, right? You can stay a little longer than you would normally be able to. It's funny because I was actually saying I wanted to commend Ajerrs for the fact that he picks up the RPG on this last refresh that he gets, or this last kill that he gets. I guess it definitely wasn't a refresh. To get that RPG in the heat of the moment is actually so sick. But then he tunnels on his grappler. Like in that situation, maybe needs to build for sure because they know where he is and there's no cover. But regardless, this could have won him the game essentially if he didn't take too much damage after that. It's also really cool that he like commits down onto Sizlucky because he knows there's a guy above him and also knows the situation that's a 1v2 v1, right? So he goes for the extra kill. Again, that extra kill is what wins them the tournament. Figure out the situation similar to game 2, I should say. Similar to game 2, figure out the situation you are in and your chances and go for the best point play rather than necessarily trying to get the win every time. Here, full sending on Sizlucky is another point away from Bizzle, essentially winning the tourney. All right. Okay, cool. Let's hit the next game. People didn't really care about yesterday's events. I would argue differently. Viewership was insane for a no-stakes tournament. We had what, 200K on Fortnite or on Fortnite in general during NA East. Like, it's kind of massive. All right, they got a llama this game. Very cool. Llamas are interesting. I don't know if llamas really impact games that much, but it is kind of random that, you know, 3 teams or whatever get llamas. So slightly different Storm Surge plan here, but a note that they aren't paying too much attention to it because of the lobby declining much, much faster. Typically in that 4th game, it does do this. People get a little bit more desperate on their drop spots. Ooh, they almost dipped in to go for the upgrade. They were close to dipping in to go for the upgrade, but the shots above, I think, scared them off. Okay. A little purple scar pull. Nice. They have very few tags here. Season 2. No, you're trash. And porta potties. Is there one out there? Is there a map? Does anybody know if there's a map for porta potties and stuff? There is a map? On Loot Lake. Okay, Loot Lake has it. If Loot Lake has it, then that's enough. Study that sheet, boys. Because the only reason I'd know why the Misty, or where the Misty stuff goes, is because I dropped there. I don't know any other ones besides like at the Mythic POIs themselves. Oh, and Pleasant, but that's only because I dropped there too. So you should know more than, you should know anything that's on your path, and really anything in general, but you should know all these paths. I overheard during the stream yesterday, during the viewing party, Calc and Avery, like, oh, we should take this porta potty, but they didn't really know where it went, so they didn't take it. It could have been a big boon for them on their rotation, but that was in game number 2 when it went to Steamy Stacks. They were like all the way down here or something, and there's a porta potty, like, I don't know, somewhere over here, and they didn't know. They didn't know where it went. Those are quick rotations, but also probably going to be a little dangerous later on. Just because of the sheer fact that people could camp for Storm Surge and stuff like that. Okay. It's important. All finals games will have 5th zone surge, especially if there's no 2nd zone surge. If there is 2nd zone surge, sometimes the 5th zone surge doesn't actually go active. But all finals games will have 5th zone surge, especially in NA East. I think there's certain POIs. He basically said, Lecce screwed that up. If you're a pro player, you should know all the POIs by heart. And I don't necessarily agree with that because that just would take a long time, straight up. I think a POI like Grotto is a must know. You should know the ins and outs. You should know all the porta potties. You should know everything. You should know the air vent. You should know all that shit because just straight up, if an endgame ends here, you have to figure it out. Same thing with like learning whaling back in the day. Retail, like, you don't need to know retail. There's no risk. Steamy stacks, you do need to know a little bit because there is certain risk. Dirty, probably not, but it's okay if you don't. I think the biggest building, like you could get lost in this building here, which could be an issue. Agency, you need to know for sure, just because of the ways that plays through, you know. But all the POIs, probably not. Played on this map for like 4 months already. You could expect people to learn it in that time frame. No, Grotto's been out for like 3 weeks. 2 weeks. Like, what are you talking about? I can expect it. I can expect for these major POIs, and yes, the rest of the stuff they should know it by now. But I see why Lecce had that issue. And I do agree that he should not have had that issue. He should have been prepared. But I don't think it's relevant to know all the freaking like retail row or Holly Hedges. Like that shit's useless. Unless you're gonna drop there. Like I don't need to know where all the chest spawns and Holly Hedges are unless I rotate through there. I think it's more important to focus your learning on specific spots that you are going to interact with for sure than anything else. That was pretty interesting. I wonder if it has to do with like this zone reveal push. I'm saying I wonder if it has to do with that. If that was like a timing push for them to, because there's so many people who like look at their maps and like are waiting for zone and shit like that, just like doing nothing. I think that's smart. 5th zone reveal timing push. It didn't end up working out, but it did give him surge tags. But also could be a huge impact timing. Could be cool. Really not that in depth, right? Clearly, good players are not going to fall for 5th zone timing push, but bad players will. You can do that in opens and net yourself 2 free kills, like for sure. Yeah, they did need the surge. 100% they needed a surge. I'm just postulating about another type of theory. Because they could have done that for surge, but at a specific time is basically what my thoughts. And if anything, I think that is the zone where people are distracted a lot more than anything else. Ooh, that's a big oof. That's a big oof. Yo, man, the classic controller window edit, bro. The classic controller player window edit. Holy shit. Come on, man. If he had gone for something more than a shot, which is safe, But if he had gone for something more than a shot there, he probably would have netted himself a kill. If he went for a cone on a bigger, he's not controllers. I did not know Ajerrs was not a controller. I will not lie. I thought Ajerrs was. Anyways, we'll ignore that. VOD review dumb moment number 16 by Ballatw. Delete the clip. I do need a blooper reel, bro. The amount of dumb shit I say sometimes is fucking hilarious. Y'all remember the time somebody was in retail row and they were like, they said something. I was like, oh, they said 7, and it was not at all what they said. Good times, good times. What? Come on, replay mode. Why you gotta do us like that? Oh, is that it, actually? No, it wasn't, because there's lag, so we wouldn't have been able to see that in the viewing party. Aspect, not again. Not again. Commandment, not again. Well, those were really lucky catches. Time and time again. Does Innocent have the heavy snipe? No. They must pick one up. Or I'm just tripping it with somebody else. Somebody heavy sniped in the box and wall replaced. Like, phased through the box and wall replaced with their duo at the same time, and it blew my mind. And it blew my mind. That edit to get Innocence or Ajerrs back in was pretty sleek. Oh, it is them. Hoggers. Their mid ground and low ground play is nasty. I wish we saw that full game from them on high ground. That would have been clean. That would have been really, really clean. I'm sure. Oh, it's right here. This is it. Oh, it didn't even happen. I thought he phased through. Oh, man. I'm not excited anymore, man. This is the moment I just overreacted on viewing party because it happened too fast. I thought that they literally had Innocence phase through with a stare with the heavy sniper and then Ajerrs hold the wall so that High Sky could not box Innocence in. They just replaced the wall. That's sad. That's sad. I still challenge somebody to do that in a game. The wall replace plus phase in with your teammate. It's funny. This is a moment where This is a moment where they could be psychoing height over and over and over and over, but they kind of don't. Ooh. Did you just try to build Innocence in? Did Innocence have mats? No, he didn't. Imagine. Awkward. I thought that endgame was more hype than that. I thought he RPG'd him down. Fake news. Fake news. like, they're not building for height right here. This moment when they RPG, they're just kind of just continuously spraying. And that's very important. If they got any higher, this could have been more and more awkward. I see why Creo is upset. He definitely had an opportunity, but... Dude, he had so much time to take that shot, but he didn't. And I commend him for that. Because he was still good HP. Could have gotten one pumped, but more important to make sure he secures the kill for sure than anything else. That could have been so clutch. Alright, anyways. Next game. Ajerrs on controller. No, I made that mistake and embarrassed myself in front of a lot of viewers. It was great. It was a good time. I guess moving towards the edge and moving towards dead side during first is probably kind of useless because you have no clue where second is going to go and where third is going to go, which really determine what dead side are and aren't. At this point in the game, there's really no such thing because everybody's moving from everywhere on the map. So, good to note. Dead side doesn't really exist in first, second zone. So white lining is generally okay. But edge map still exists. So if edge map is a possibility for dead side, then you can move towards it. But otherwise, everybody is moving from everywhere on the map. So dead side does not exist. What? They just got shit on. Calc? Calc? Calc, are you okay? Care to explain? I know they were triggered. I know they were full losing. They're trying to hit the box fight wager on everybody. It's so hard to win a 1v2 against a minigun on competent players. The pinches are just way too strong. If you can carry it, I think it's a must. It's a must carry. Especially if you don't get double heavy snipe. But I think it's even better than double heavy snipe in the first place. If the helicopters are not news helicopters reporting on the thefts and heists of the agencies, then I am full losing it. They need to be news helicopters and nothing else. Edge was light work. Constantly Edge is still light work for this. That's actually very surprising. I think this is gonna switch up on them later on down the road. I'll probably qualify week 1 by playing like this, but after that it might switch up, and if they don't switch up, which they will, could be a problem. Am I doing Bizzle and Cease later? We might do them tomorrow. I think we might, but I think I want to watch AV in semis tomorrow. I've been wanting to do an AV review for a while. I'm definitely going to do that, but we might have time for Bizzle and Cease tomorrow too. Jesus. Just costed. This is kind of the issue I was talking about earlier. Like when you play Edge with nobody around you. In this case, there was really nobody even to push for. There's no congested side here too. It's funny. Like, look. Literally nobody. There was no congested side to push to for a launch pad. Just straight up dead because of the way that they had to rotate through here. That was a misplay. I don't know why they weren't trying to move earlier. I guess they were just banking on it. You either try to push these guys or do something at this point. There's 30 seconds here where they just do nothing. And die because of it. I think this is just a full gamble on this team. Yeah, see how they're even coming back? They're like, well, these guys are waiting for us to leave. Let's go. No, they even come back. But then they're all screwed. Dude, every single one of these guys died. These guys died too. No, they take the better path. They take the better path. Which is towards that old congestion so they can use the old builds as cover and stuff. Oh, they kind of die. Alright, next game. I don't know. These mountains, you might think they're good for Surge, but the people are so far away typically in these second zones and stuff like that versus these ones that you don't actually get much. And you kind of put yourself, if you're there really, really early, sure, you reserve the position, but getting those tags is much harder, I'd say. It's still good, you can still do it, but if you find yourself needing it, like right now, you don't need it in this case. But if there's like a few more players alive, could be rough. Could be rough. I guess on the flip side, there's always somebody on these mountains. So maybe I'm just speaking out of my ass. If there's always somebody on the mountains, there's somebody to at least try to trade damage with. But sometimes people are just like, no, I don't want to trade. Don't want to fight you. Don't want to look at you at all. Is this like slow time? Why is the clock continuously clicking? Oh my god! That was cool. That was really cool. That was like a good 45 seconds in preparation to find that flank on those high ass mountains. For the flank. They shot at them way early, and then these guys lost track of them when they were on this side of zone. And then they made the big flank up around the mountain. They had no clue because they were still looking for those tags on them rotating in. They're like, where'd this team go? Where'd this team go? Boom. The big flank. That was awesome. Kind of just grouped innocence. Nice. Good pinch. Good setup. Good setup. Well done. No minigun that time, so it was a little harder on the 1v2, but still, they worked it. I would have preferred him to throw less C4 at a time, because the whole goal was kind of just force him into innocence. Nice. Oh wow, how's it these guys again? I love the restraint here. I love the restraint. There's a lot of time where these guys could get focused. Ooh, that was smart, but I think they get shit on. No, they don't. Okay, cool. That was smart. The guy launched away, and they broke the pad after the launch to force a 1v2. Wait, and then that guy got fucking stuck by himself. Oh, is this how this happens? This is just get beamed, and then he tries to res, and it's just over. GG's. Let me guess, C4. No. You C4, he got screwed. Ah! The hill phased him through that. That's pretty sick. Okay. That's it. I think we learned a lot. Let's go over our notes really quickly. I think the Storm Surge plan was pretty decent the entire time on edge, basically holding people who are rotating next to them. Their sneak ups are ridiculous. And they're looking for bases that are big that they can shoot through before they actually arrive there, so they can get the tags early on, or just straight up be in that box. They're really good at not committing to anything. This is just a random thought. They spot the solos a lot. Dead side is still really strong, but They're very careful about not getting stuck dead side, even though in game 5 they died to that. You saw game number 2, they actually made a plan and made a different play to try to push towards congested side to find that community pad. They're so good in Endgame in replacing and box fighting together. Like, they literally stick right on their asses and are really good with the duo wall takes, that sort of stuff. And then their early game. We talked a lot about the early game, the kind of meta that's going to develop from it, how they're kind of doing a finals drop already, and if that's actually going to hurt them, I don't think it will, because there's not really too much extra to steal off of that, so I think people are just going to basically fuck off and never touch them, but you never know. That could still be an issue for them. Moving forward, I think we'll see a lot of these guys who were working on their mythic spots, the grotto, the agency. I think we'll start seeing those guys start to pop off. The shark, even in some cases, and qualify in the first couple of weeks. And then we'll see the return of the smaller drop spots start to be better again. But I think we're going to have some weeks that look like retail row out of these spots from trios. But in any case, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, do all the things on my social media. If you're watching on Twitch live, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, because tomorrow we're going live with another VOD review. It's going to be semifinals. AV, who plays with Chap, he actually popped off. He had one of the most ridiculous clutches I've ever seen, and I've been wanting to VOD review him for a while. So be back for that. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and like and comment if you do. If you see anything, any feedback, anything, please let me know. Peace.